minutes and then go into some Q&A if there's Q&A. And I think that'll help cut down on the questions after the training. What usually happens is we have a lot of we just went live. You can hear that. We have a lot of questions on Thursday after the training to explain the things that people usually went on in the first part of the training. So we're going to try to cut it down just a little bit, maybe 15 minutes. That way everybody gets everything they need, has the opportunity to ask questions. We're going to be going into the training panel tonight. I mean, the panel tonight. We've got a lot of new people coming to training. So getting ask a lot of questions. Some of the stuff may be repetitive to you. Some of it may just be a refresher. It's usually just a refresher. And so we want to make sure that if you need to know, you need to know, and we're going to fix that and help you out. So let me just real quick, I'm going to open up my Zoom. I try to do that so that we can 162. I can see the screen's changing and I can see it immediately. Let me turn off that sound there. But I do hope everybody's had an absolute, whoa, boy, it's definitely working. And hope everybody's had a wonderful week, a very prosperous week. And I mean, the thing about this, guys, January is over. It's kind of hard to believe, right? I mean, January's done. We are here. February 1st is on Friday. And this is my question to you. You know, what did you do in January that did not help you get to where you're going? Or what did you do in January that helps you get to where you want to go? Did you make the number of sales that you wanted to make? And did you do the things that you wanted to do to get exactly in the place to set you up for February? If you didn't, ask yourself, why did I not? You know, we at the end of December, we talked about that quite a bit. The 1st of January, we talked about it some more. The big question is are you successful in are you doing the things that you have to be successful? And I get that question just about every day. I talk to a lot of you folks every day, and it's usually the same thing. Well, I haven't gone out and done anything yet. And that's the number one thing that you need to go out and do. You know, you need to jump out there and you need to make it happen, and you need to go out and make sales. Some people say, well, I'm waiting to figure out what products I want to sell. And they've been a part of Appwizard Studio for 2 or 3 years, 4 years. You know, I mean, it's kind of, if you hadn't figured it out by now, it's time you really start figuring it out and put together, you know, the number one product that I've sold is the mobile business card. Still sell them. Built 9 of them yesterday, and build about that many just about every day. And they continue to sell, and that's what I sell. So it's a popular item. You know, the mobile app is probably the hottest ticket in the country right now. Why? Because everybody has finally realized after 6 years, well, we started in 2012. It was new. It was fresh, right? And nobody really understood it. Nobody really knew how to use it. And everybody kind of looked at you like it's crazy. Now everybody wants it, and everybody's asking for it. And so if you don't sell it, somebody's going to. So real quick, let's take care of some housekeeping. If you have not joined our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/AWS Mastermind, join that group. A lot of great information in that group. Also, if you've not joined our Appwizard Studio channel, join our Appwizard Studio. Just look for the icon there in the center with the subscribe now with the little button, Appwizard Studio, and follow us on that channel. All of our trainings go directly onto that channel. And Appwizard Studio, nor I cannot guarantee just because you are watching training, you will make any sales, create any traffic, or increase your income. Every person is different, has different work ethics and different desires. And as I said, we're going to go into the platform tonight. We've had a lot of questions this last couple of weeks, new people signing in, and that's what we have training here for. So we're going to take it right into the platform. Let me share this screen with you real quick. Like that should be it. And I should see it flop over, and I did. So this is the platform, okay? And this is the platform that you build your apps in. This is the platform that you do everything in. It's got your marketing platform in it. And we're going to go over the marketing platform next week, because I am learning more and more that texting is really the basis of dissemination of your apps. Not only your apps, but your customers' apps. And getting more and more into texting myself. I've always been into texting, but texting is really becoming the way to get information out quickly. Email is still good, you know. I mean, it still has an open rate. I track every email I send out, and it's usually somewhere between 36 and 72 hours before an email gets read. It's almost worse than sending a letter. I can send a letter, and it usually is arrived in 2 days. And if I put a little thing on it that says, hey, sign for this, you know, I get that back in 2 days. So in 4 days, I've sent a letter out. It was received. It was read. And then I usually get my check that the people owe me. And I get confirmation of that. With email, it's just about the same thing, you know, somewhere around 3 or 4 days, and people decide to read it. Unless your headline is extremely good and or they're expecting it from you. Just blind emails anymore from businesses, even though it's not spam, even though they know they're going to get it. Maybe they bought something from you and you put them on your email list. They signed up for your email list. You know, they just don't read it. And usually they don't read it because they know you're asking for money. But if you send a certified letter, they will always pay. I'm going to go into this particular app right here. This happens to be an app of a social influencer, okay, in California, Eric Zulli. He's a Hollywood producer, social influencer. About, I don't know, 30 million people follow him on Facebook and so forth. So I want to go in his app because his app really contains everything, okay? You can see here, he's got a CNAME. Okay, he got the .app from Google. Okay, Google has the .app domain names, and that's the only place you can get them from. He's got the .app domain name. Okay, if I open this up on the computer here, you can see it's going to redirect, and it's going to go to an HTTPS. Okay, it's going to go to the HTTPS. So it's got the, and this is the app right here. And it's got the secure on it. We talked about the SSL last week. So you want to do that. Okay. Let's go back over here. We don't have texting enabled yet. We were going to get together yesterday and he was tied up and wasn't able to get back to me. But we're going to put texting on this app. And let's go on into the web app. Okay. And I want to show you everything that was done in this app. And we're getting ready to change some things over because sometimes when you build an app, it gets a little too heavy. And he's on the heavy side right now. He's on the side where we've got to make some adjustments. He's adding a whole bunch of links and a bunch of stuff to the app. So it's getting way too heavy, okay? I mean, we can just look up here on the front page. Click to subscribe. This is his YouTube channel. He's got a banner up here that's very large, very large. He's got a video in the middle here. So it's just kind of heavy. I never recommend a logo this size. I think the 500 by 270 to 275 max out somewhere around 280. That's 500 wide by 280 is the perfect image size for the header. Okay. But he's the customer and that's what he wanted to put up there. But we are going to make some adjustments to this and he understands that. You want to make sure that your app is extremely accessible, but it's also extremely usable. Okay. Now I'll show you something here real quick. Here's his menu. Okay. Now, how many of you have heard me say many times? Okay. And you can see all these buttons right here. Initially, he wanted the buttons on the front. Initially, he wanted the buttons on the front of the app. Okay. And as many of you know, and you hear me say all the time, that's a huge no-no. You don't want to put all those buttons on the front of the app. Why? Because people will not scroll. Okay. It's burdensome. They don't want to look at it. So what we did is we put it in the menu. Okay. When you add a button, you come over here and everything is automatically in the slide menu. Okay. Everything is automatically in the slide menu. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. You don't have to worry about, is it in the slide menu? Is it not in the slide menu? How does it work? It's automatically in there. Okay. So here you have your slide menu already populating. Then what you have to do is you have to say, okay, how do I want this to come? Is it going to come over an overlay, or is it going to come as a push? I don't know if you can see this or not, but when this pushes, it pushes the page over. Okay. When it's an overlay, it actually overlays the page. So here you have the push, and you'll see it push. You'll see this gray box completely pushed to the left. Okay. So we get the push, and it pushes out of the way. You can go from the right side, or you can push it from the left side. It's totally up to you. Okay. I leave it on the right side, and I leave it as overlay. I don't change that. All right. So you come over here and you say, okay, what do I want on my menu? Well, let's take a look here. Well, we've got contact us. We don't want that on the menu. So just like in the rest of the app, you just simply go in there and turn that off. Join our list. We're going to turn that off. Share web app. We're going to turn that off, right? Because all of these buttons are on the front of the app. Call us. We're going to turn that off. Now, if I want to move something around, let's say that I want to move TV distribution. Let me get in here and find it. It's on the bottom. Okay. Let's say I want to move TV distribution up here above our video. All right. I can move TV distribution up. And let me find our video. Right here. Okay. So our video is turned off because that's on the top. That's on the top of the app. So you see TV distribution right here. So we moved it from the bottom to right there. Let's move it back down. All you have to do is simply click on this and scroll it down, and we're going to put it back on the bottom, and it automatically goes to the bottom. All right. Just like everything else. So when you're building out a menu, you want, some people like it alphabetically. Some people like it in the way, that flows with their business. They'll tell you how they want it. When you set the menu up, they'll tell you how you want it. The most important thing is this, that you use the menu. A lot of people will tell me when they call, say, well, Kerry, I want to put everything on the front because I'm afraid they won't know what that is. People know what these three little dots mean. These three little dots mean the same thing on responsive websites, on every single mobile app out there. You'll find the little dots or the little bars over in the left-hand or right-hand corner of an app. And when you push on that, it opens a menu. We've been accustomed to that. That's been part of an app for years. Okay. So, and responsive websites, it's been a part of that. So people understand that. You may not think they do, but the fact that it's been out there and people have been using apps now for many, many years, since about 2009-ish, 10-ish, something like that, 8-ish, 9-ish, 10-ish. So, they've been out there for about 10, 11, 12 years now. So here we go. We've got our app built. Now, these are standard buttons, the click to call. Now, he wanted this menu button. We had a office number right here, but he wanted a menu button. What's new button. So this is what's cool about our platform. You can put any buttons anywhere you want. So what we did was we created this link, and this goes to an Eric Zulli site. And all you have to do is come up here and go into header. I'm not going to change this because he's sharing this via radio, TV, a lot of ways. So I'm not going to change that button right there. But if I wanted to, I could come over here to the tab bar. Okay, this is the tab bar. You can see call, what's new, email, and easy way. Okay, I'm going to show you. I'm going to change it here, and I'm not going to save it. I could have moved that to the end. I can move that anywhere I want to do that. Or I can add a new link. Or if I wanted to change that link, okay, and I'm not going to save it. You're going to see it change, but I'm not going to save it. I can say get our card, okay? And it changes it to get our card. All right. So, and all you have to do to see anything change, if you don't see it change here, just hit the reload button. Now, this button up at top subscribes to the YouTube channel. That is the button bar, okay? Just like anything else, you can move this button bar anywhere you want it. You can put it down here below the tab bar, but we don't want to do that. You can put it just above the tab bar, but we want it all the way to the top. We want to put it above the image. You can see here, you can move the image around anywhere you want it. You can actually put the image below the tab bar if you want. okay? Anywhere you want it to go. All right? It's totally up to you, and it's totally up to your preference, how you want to design your app and how you want it to look. Putting a video in an app, the videos are very important. I'm going to show you a little trick here, okay? You go in here and you put a video. Just open up. The video goes in the text/HTML button box right here, okay? You can see the video. Now, in order to place the video in there, you have to go to the source code because this happens to be the embed code of the video. Just to let you know, YouTube has changed. You know, before you could take out the videos at the end of a video, you could take out what's coming next and all that. You can't do that anymore. What does show up is the videos that are in your channel, okay? If you put a 1 in there versus a 0. So whatever's next, and you have to do it manually in order to do that, all right? So right here, you go into source code, all right? So when you come right here, you can see that this is 225 wide. That's what I put all my videos. Sometimes I'll do them at 158, depending on what size they are. But so anywhere from 158 to 225. Does everybody see this 100% right here? Can everybody see this 100% in the width? Does everybody see that? Yes, no, indifferent. Can everybody hear me? Okay, yes, awesome. Okay, so you see right here the 100%. Always put the width at 100%. That way you always get the full coverage of the screen of the phone, no matter what phone is that it's on, okay? iPhone and Android phone are totally different. I mean, they're nowhere close to being the same, okay? Nowhere close to being the same. So you want to make sure that you put that at 100%. It's not going to mess anything up. It's just simply going to take that video and spread it completely across the screen so you get full coverage. If you put it at a 280, okay, and I used to put them at 280, you're going to get coverage, but you're going to get some different looks on different phones. So put it at 100%. If you'll just put that width at 100% and the height anywhere from 158 to 225, you may have to play with it. You know, you may have to put it at 200. Just put it to where it looks good, and you don't have the black at the top of the video and the bottom of the video. You make sure everything is covered. You make sure the image is there, but not the black space. That, you know, sometimes if you make it too big, that means that the video is not fitting the screen, and you're going to have black at the top and black at the bottom. So just simply put in the iframe. All right, put the iframe in there. You pull this straight off of YouTube. I pulled this one here off of what they call EasyTube. It's just like YouTube. They made it just like YouTube. It's their video channel. And I was able to pull the frame off, stick it in there. You can put Vimeos in anything that's got a iframe with it, Vimeos or some of those videos. You can do that with these and just simply hit OK, and the video is there. And you can see here that it covers the frame. Okay, it covers the frame. Now, does everybody see right here? In this emulator, you can see the background right here, okay? But in the actual app, you do not see the background, all right? You do not see the background. If you go to the About Us, you see the background and you see the frame around it. All right. I showed this last week, I think, but I'm going to show it again. If you want to take the background off of the front page and you want to take the border off, you simply go to Settings, Third-Party Code, and I'm going to paste this in the box there. You guys can have it. Just copy it out of your chat box. Let's see. I just pasted that in the chat box, and that has the no border and no background. And what that pertains to is the border around this right here. Okay, the border around that right there. So you can do it any way you want. Somebody says there's no training. So you come in and you can take the frame off. Okay. A lot of questions I get is about the Facebook and the Twitter down here, and also the developed by Appwizard Studio, or whatever your name is. This is only on, first and foremost, this developed by is only on the branded apps. Okay, if you have the branded package, if you have the $99 package, this doesn't come up. And they always ask me, well, how do I change that color? Okay, and I'm fixing to talk about it. Somebody just said, well, how did you get the background in there? And I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. Okay, this background right here. All right, can everybody see that? Can everybody see the background right here? Yes, awesome. Okay, let's go back over here, and I'll show you exactly how we do that. Backgrounds should be 1920, okay, high, 1080 wide. So 1080 wide, 1080 wide. Let me put that in the box here. And 1920 high, and that's pixels. Okay, that's pixels. All right, so we got 1080 by 1920. That's how I make my backgrounds. It fits it perfectly. You may have to adjust the image a little bit, depending on what the image is they send you. But when someone wants a background and they want a custom background, for example, this background here was like 4,000 by 4,000. So what I did is I made me a template of 1080 by 1920. Okay, 1080 wide by 1920 high. And I centered this. So I just took the easy and all this, and I just centered everything into that, and then I cut it out. And then I just uploaded it, and it comes out perfectly. It gives it the right format, and it gives it the right size and everything. Okay. So make sure you remember that 1080 by 1920. Let this load up. We got a lot of people on tonight, and the more people we have, a little bit slower it gets, but that's okay. All right. Now I want to show you guys something. Does everybody see how this is different? This background looks different than the emulator on the front. Because of everything that's in this emulator right here, this does not size correctly in the frame for the emulator. Always go to your front page right here for the preview. Look at the background. All right. Every emulator except this front emulator does not size the frame correctly. And the reason that's like that is because when you do that in a specific, with a specific coding in this back here, it throws it off. So that's the reason it's like that. But if you do a 1080 by 1920, put it in, make sure everything's centered, make sure your artwork and everything is centered like it's supposed to be, and it'll look good. It'll look good. What was I fixing to show you? Oh, yeah, the background. So you just simply come over here to advanced, go to background, And you can see the image right here. The image will load up here. This is 1080 wide by 1920 high. 1080 wide by 1920 high. And this one was 500 by 500. I centered it, and it turned out perfect. So developer text. If you have one of the packages that has this on the bottom, developer text is where you change this information. This is the text color. We can change it whatever color we want. I'm going to change it back to gold. Okay. We can change the size of the first line. This is the first line developed by. Of course, you want the developed by just a little bit smaller. Okay. And you can change the second line. Put it down there about 17. And that's what I usually put them at, about 15 and 17. Gives it a little bit bigger on the bottom. Now, if the company's name, if your business name, okay, your company's name is just say it was Carrie, okay, obviously that's smaller than developed by, then I would bring that line 2 text out, okay, just so it explodes over the developed by, okay. You can do a couple of different things here. You can make it bold. You can make it normal. Make it. I recommend making it bold. You can have it in italics or normal. And text description, you can underline it. I hate underlining, so I never do that. Okay. And just simply hit save. This button right here, is this the one you're talking about? The plus sign. How do I change the color for the plus sign? Okay. Let's go to the icons here first. You can change this into, this doesn't always have to be black. You can change this whole thing. This whole triangle can be changed, and I'll show you how to do that. You just simply go to social media. Now you can see I don't have text under here. Every app I've ever built, you may use text. Every app I ever built, you'll never see me use text. I just don't like the way it looks, but you can put text under there if you want. You can put the color of the text, show text, yes or no. So let's say yes, and you can see the text show up. But as you can see here, I've changed the size of the icons. So you can see here the text size is way too big. I would have to bring the text size down, and it's going to be too small anyway. So let me change it to a different color. Let me change it to gold. The reason I don't do that, everybody knows what these icons are. Everyone knows what the F means and the Twitter bird means and all that stuff. So I just don't do it. You can do it if you want. It's totally up to you. The icons. This is where you do the icons. Okay. Here you can see the background color. I've got this offset gray to match the gray right here. It's just a little bit lighter, so it pulls it off the page. Kind of gives it that 3D effect a little bit. The icon color is the gold, and I put the border color to gold. And I put a little ridge around this so it's 3D, okay? You can change these to whatever you want. You can double it up. You can set an inset. I use inset, outset, and ridge a lot. I really like the ridge on the Facebook icons and the Twitter icons because of the it gives it that 3D effect and pulls it off the page. And that's what I want. I want it to pop when they see it. Okay. Any questions at all up till now? Yeah, we'll get to that right now. The question is the triangle right here, and that's called the Save Home Screen Triangle. Okay, this is what they tap on, and it brings up the thing on the phone. It recognizes the type of phone you're on, and it tells you how to save the app to the home screen. You just simply come down here. This is the background color. If I want to make the background color gold, this the charcoal gray, I could do that. Okay, but that just pops way too much for me. So I'm going to make that the charcoal gray, and I'm going to make the button gold. Just go to Save to Home Screen Triangle. Okay. Or I can come here and reset colors and hit reset colors, and I'll take it back right where it was at. All right. Last thing I'm going to go over, and this is another big question we get all the time about the photos. Okay, here's the photo gallery. Let me find his photo gallery. Right here. You see all of his photos in here. Now, every one of these photos are a different size. Every single one of them. But I can change the spacing up here. I can do anything I want with these. I can make these bigger. I can move them out. I can change the image size. Okay, you can change all that. I can put a border around it, each image, if I want to. I can change the border color so that it pops. It looks like it's in a frame. I can make that, let's make that a ridge, and that'll really make it look like a frame. Okay, I can put a border radius on it. I can make it a circle. Or I can just put a little bit of radius there, about a 20, and give it just a nice little rounded edge. And then when they click on these, it's going to open up the photo. And the photos down here, you can turn on a slideshow and or you can do them one at a time. This is Eric right here. You can do them one at a time. Now, does everybody see it's kind of, you're waiting to see the picture? Let me tell you how a web app works. This is a good place to do that. When you load the app on your phone, every single button, this is what I tell people. If you put too much on it, you're going to kill yourself. You're going to kill people sitting in it because they're not going to wait if they got a slow connection. Every single page, every single button is a page. Now, I want you to think of this, look at this as a 3D model. I want you to take a stack of paper and I want you to turn it on its edge and you can see 500 pages of paper in that package. Think of your web app the exact same way. You've got a stack of paper, okay? You've got a stack of pages on top of each other. And when you open that app, every single page has to load, okay? So if you've got 100 pages, it's going to take whatever it is, if it's 3 seconds or 5 seconds a page, 5 seconds times 100 pages, okay? So it could take a long time, you know, if it's 1 second a page or whatever your connection speed is what's going to determine it. But it's going to take a while for that app to load. The more you have on it, the heavier it is, the crazier it gets. So all of those pages are loading over and over and over and stacking on top of themselves. And until that page loads, when you open it up, you're not going to see that page. Now, you may open it up and it's number, the button that they happened to click was button number 37. And that happened to be the last one, but it's only loaded down to page 25. You still got about 14 pages left, 12 pages left to get to that page. So it could be, you know, another 3 times 10, about 30 seconds before they get to that page. So remember that. A native app is totally different. A native app doesn't load that way. A native app will go immediately to the code and pull the page. This is just like a website. It pulls it in page at a time. Now, most apps don't have this much in it. Okay. I've never, ever in my 7 years of doing this, ever built anything with that many pages in it. Okay. But the more pages you have, the thicker it gets, the thicker the pad gets, and you got to get to that page when you get to that page. So remember that when you're building out your apps. Remember that when you're talking to your clients. They're better off if they're going to do something like that, and that's what Eric and I are going to talk about, rebuilding his web presence, okay? You're better off using this card and bringing just a few of your main pages in and using your website, your responsive website, to take them to everything else. That makes it just way too heavy, way too heavy. Most people aren't going to sit here and go through all this stuff. The majority of people will never, ever get to any of this stuff right here. Okay? So remember that. Remember that. The more you put, The longer it takes, the longer it takes. If they're looking for a page and they don't, most people, 5 seconds is the threshold. 5 seconds is the threshold for somebody to watch for a page. You don't think 5 seconds is a long time until you're waiting on a page to load, right? Until that page starts to load. So 5 seconds is a while, okay? What Google likes to see is 3 seconds or less. 2.7 to 2.8 is like really, really good. If you can get down to a 2.6, you're like a speed demon on the web load side, okay? Web speed. So, but 3 is normal. Most sites are somewhere, I mean, 3 is where ultimate. Most sites are somewhere between 3.5 to 4.5. You know, you got to go in, if you want a 3, you got to go in and optimize every picture, pull every piece of code. I don't know if you guys realize this or not. When you pull a picture off the web, okay, that picture is coded. You don't see it, but the picture is coded. So when it goes to pull that picture, it's reading all the code that comes with that picture. There's an actual program online that you can go through and decode every picture. So it takes all the CSS and all the crap that's embedded in it, okay, out of it, okay? There's tracking codes, there's tracking pixels. There's all kind of stuff embedded in a picture that you pull offline. And the reason most of that stuff is there is so that they will know if you're using their picture or not, all right? So you can clean them. I don't know what the site is. I don't use it. I create my own images unless it belongs to the person that I bought them, that I'm building the app for. For example, this is his stuff. So he just sent me the images, and if they're coded, they are. If they're not, they're not. Okay. But that's a quick way to reduce the speed of your app. All right. Any questions? Any questions at all? You're welcome. Didn't know how to change that color, huh? That's okay. That's what we have trainings for. Guys, I mean, bring your stuff to training. You know, don't be afraid to ask a question at all. Don't be afraid to ask a question. All right. Well, we're not going to sit here and beat a dead horse. Watch the training. The trainings are all on YouTube. Snag them off. I mean, we went through 5 items tonight. That's enough to go in and play with. Remember this, and remember this always. You're not going to break anything. You've probably got 500 or 1,000 apps in your system. Build them out, practice, but most importantly, go out and sell them in practice, and you'll do fine. Thanks for coming out this evening. Everyone have an absolute wonderful night. Good night, and God bless. And we're going to stay in the platform next week, and we're going to go over some more tools in a different app. Thank you.